Mercedes W14 is now showing signs of life after the last race, but it seems like the Silver Arrows themselves don't have faith in their creation. Toto Wolff recently made comments that don't give their supporters any reassurance about the direction they're taking, and it seems like Red Bull isn't worried about them, even going as far as to poke fun at Lewis Hamilton and company. Let's take a look at everything that was said between the two teams in today's video. And apologies in advance, as your host is feeling a little bit under the weather today. Mercedes had a major breakthrough during the 2023 Formula One season in Barcelona when they clinched their first double podium of the year. Lewis Hamilton finished in second place, closely followed by his teammate George Russell in third. Their outstanding performance at the Spanish Grand Prix sparked optimism that the significant upgrades made to the W14 would truly transform their season. Despite their significant boost in performance, the team has made an effort in recent days to temper the expectations leading up to the upcoming Canadian Grand Prix. During Mercedes' post-race debrief after the Spanish Grand Prix, Andrew Chauvelin acknowledged that their triumph in Barcelona could have been an isolated incident. Team principal Toto Wolff is also strategically managing the expectations surrounding the team's performance. As he provided a preview of the Canadian Grand Prix to the media, Wolff highlighted that the Barcelona circuit was well suited to the upgraded W14. But he emphasized that the conditions and demands of the Montreal circuit would present a different challenge altogether, saying, "But we must also manage our expectations. It was a circuit that suited our car, and we should expect our direct competitors to be stronger in the next races. The gap to Red Bull is large, and it will take lots of hard work to close that down. Nevertheless, we're up for the challenge." Nonetheless, Wolff and the Mercedes team are ready to face the challenge head-on, and the team boss acknowledges that regardless of the outcome, they will gain valuable data on the performance of the W14 as soon as the race is finished. He said, "We now move on to Montreal. With its long straights and low-speed corners, it's not a track that we expect to suit our car as well as Barcelona did. No matter where the true pace of the car is this weekend, we will aim to maximize our result. The characteristics of the circuit will also provide further opportunity to learn about the W14 and feed into our development path." Lewis Hamilton, star driver for the Silver Arrows, has expressed a difference in opinion regarding Mercedes' choice to abandon their slim sidepod design for the current season. The revamped W14 now incorporates certain features reminiscent of Red Bull's RB19, indicating that Toto Wolff aims to narrow the gap and reclaim Mercedes' dominant position in Formula One by any means necessary, even if it means taking inspiration from their rivals. Mercedes kicked off the ground effect design era in the previous year with a car that stood out dramatically from their competitors, and not in a good way. One of the notable features was their narrow side pods. However, in 2023, the team had to acknowledge their shortcomings and accept defeat. Initially, questions were raised when they stuck with a similar design at the beginning of the season. However, Wolff promptly made a commitment to a drastic overhaul once it became evident that both Hamilton and his teammate George Russell were once again falling significantly behind in terms of pace. Hamilton was quite vocal about his frustrations with the W14 even before the changes were implemented. However, the seven-time world champion is adamant that the decision to pursue a new direction with a design that aligns more closely with Red Bull was not made by him. Hamilton said, "These are ideas from the past year. With the team and George Russell, we have been constantly working on questions like, why does this look like this? And have we tried this yet? Now we have wider side pods, a bit towards Red Bull's, and I can say it wasn't my decision to go this way. When we put the car on the track for the first time this year, it was almost a copy of last year's car, only it didn't bounce. A bit like a prettier sister, but really with similar characteristics." Hamilton is undoubtedly eager for the redesigned W14 to deliver favourable outcomes as he seeks his first Grand Prix victory since 2021. The 38-year-old has not experienced such a prolonged winless streak before, and it will be a formidable task to halt the momentum of the leader in the Drivers' Championship, Red Bull's Max Verstappen, this season. Speaking of Red Bull, Lewis Hamilton has crowned Mercedes as the strongest team in Formula One and has his sights set on surpassing Red Bull's performance. Following the implementation of upgrades to the W14, Hamilton is determined to continue Mercedes' momentum and challenge Red Bull's dominance. When asked about whether he believed Mercedes now had a solid foundation to make additional improvements, Hamilton expressed his thoughts to Sky Sports F1, saying, "Definitely. As long as I have been racing, if you're quick in Spain, you should be quick elsewhere. But the way these cars work, they have a bit of a narrow working window, so there will be tracks where it's not so great, maybe. But I am hoping that's not the case. We have gone into second in the Constructors' Championship, and I think we have the strongest team, particularly the drivers. George and I are punching out great results weekend in and weekend out. Now we just need to pick up the performance a little bit more, which I know everyone is working hard to do, and hopefully we can catch these Red Bulls at some stage." The rivalry between Mercedes and Red Bull is definitely heating up again, as Christian Horner, the head of Red Bull, made insinuations that Lewis Hamilton had purposefully complained extensively to influence the FIA into modifying their regulations. These comments arose in the aftermath of a contentious Azerbaijan Grand Prix that occurred precisely 1 year ago. During that time, Hamilton, a 7-time world champion not used to being in such a faulty car, was visibly in discomfort as he exited his W14 car after the race, having been heavily affected by the porpoising effect. When questioned about his response if Red Bull encountered a similar issue, he replied with a little bit of vulgarity, saying, "Tell them to bitch as much as they could over the radio and make as big of an issue out of it as they possibly could." When asked if he believed that Mercedes and Hamilton were employing similar tactics, Horner added that, "Of course it is. Look, it is uncomfortable, but there are remedies to that, but it is detrimental to the car's performance. What is the easiest thing to do? Complain from a safety point of view, but each team has a choice. If it was a genuine safety concern across the whole grid, then it is something that should be looked at. But if it is only affecting isolated people or teams, then that is something that the team should potentially deal with." In light of the rule change aimed at eliminating the porpoising effect, Horner additionally implied that Mercedes had a vested interest in seeing a regulation change that would benefit them in the future. He said, "The easiest thing is obviously to raise the car so a team has a choice to do that. You have a choice where you run your car, and you should never run a car that is unsafe. But I think that is more for the technical guys, because there are certain cars that have some issues, and certain cars with very few issues. It would seem unfair to penalise the ones who have done a decent job versus the ones who have perhaps missed the target slightly." It seems like Christian Horner isn't the only Red Bull member to think little of the Silver Arrows. Max Verstappen ridiculed Mercedes' zero-pod design concept after the team deviated from that development approach in Monaco. Speaking to the media prior to the Spanish Grand Prix, Verstappen mockingly remarked that, "I think our next upgrade will be with no side pods, then everyone can go back." He then continued, "But it's not only the sideboards, it's a lot of things which have come together. We learned a lot over the years, and now, with the new regulations, we hit the ground running and understood what was going on. That helps a lot. Hopefully we can keep the momentum going as everyone is pushing very hard to catch up. From our side, we are never satisfied, we always want more." This season, Lewis Hamilton has slipped to 4th place in the driver's standings, accumulating only 87 points. In contrast, Red Bull's star driver Max Verstappen currently holds a commanding 53-point advantage. The two rivals will once again face off this weekend in the upcoming Canadian Grand Prix, scheduled to take place in Montreal. Last season, Verstappen emerged victorious, with Hamilton finishing in 3rd place. But what does this season bring? Will we see a David and Goliath situation happen this weekend? Share your predictions in the comment section down below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks for watching.